Morning.
Shout out to the
you.
morning.
Shout
Good
out to
morning.
everybody.
Happy Monday, whatever day you're freaking listening to this.
Whatever day you're listening to this, I hope it's a great day. That's all.
Well,
What do we prompt with? What's our world looking like today?
I want to plug the SCA stuff again. We'll be at
Absolutely.
the Specialty Coffee Association Annual Expo in Houston, Texas. We still don't have our schedule completely dialed in, but once we do, we'll let you know. One thing we do know is that we're helping co-host this Source green buying panel. It's going to be a live discussion on green buying and green coffee and coffee, everything that's happening from the cost of green coffee, how the supply chain works. It's sponsored by Cafe Imports. They're putting it on. They're going to have a couple of their people. There's people from other importers and exporters, and it's going to be a really good discussion. So that's going to be Saturday from 8:30 to 10:30. We'll put the link if you want to link up below. There'll be a RSVP. You can ask questions and, learn a lot. I'm looking forward to learning a lot as well.
That's gonna be great.
It's going to be super solid.
Yes, it will.
Very excited. We do have all of our travel booked.
We do. Travel's booked.
Jared, our fearless travel leader,
Man, really went there.
booked those hotels up just nice and tight.
Tight, right? Ready.
Are you looking forward to seeing anything in particular there?
In Houston, I'm still remembering a barbecue experience I had a long time ago that I feel like I'd love to find again and see if it lives up to the hype. But otherwise, no, I'm looking forward to pulling some coffee, though. I'll be on La Marzocco booth at some point. I don't know the schedule yet either. We'll get back to you. But I'm excited about making coffee for people.
What are you going to bring? I know you've been workshopping.
We're going to bring the Best Friends blend is what I'm going to probably end up pulling on whatever machines they have there, which will be fun. Probably some version of a Strata X and all the fun things they're going to do. I had a great time last year with Mark, so.
Tell me more about the Best Friends.
Oh gosh,
blend,
the
Jared.
Best Friends blend. Wow. Every pound sold is going to get you a Delore into the bucket, and then that bucket gets filled up, and then that money goes back to our producers and partners who are in the Best Friends Club, which are currently all in Honduras, and we are expanded it actually to Guatemala this year, which is exciting. So we are working on expanding that program. It's been very, very helpful. I believe this year Wilson Morales is going to be taking up the majority of that blend. Last year we had Nellen Guzman, which was on Fuego. You may go back and see the video. I said Nellen Guzman a lot to people because I served a lot of that coffee. But yeah, I'm looking forward to that. That'll be fun.
Coffee from Honduras. Nellen Guzman. I got coffee from Honduras. Coffee from Honduras.
Everybody's like, what is it? It's coffee from Honduras.
Coffee from Honduras.
Blah, 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 blah. Yep. I was
Link that below
sick.
too, Wiser. You could just watch that on repeat for hours.
That was so
and
fun.
hours. and
We were
hours.
busy. It was great to do. And then, yeah, I'm looking forward to just experience. Last time we were in Houston, right? It was the year I just missed finals in USBC. It
You
was
had just got.
it was
what year was that?
hectic.
I was 20.
It would be
1989.
2010,
19
1977.
It was before
year
the
of our
war
Lord.
for sure.
2010, I think, or 11. 11.
11.
It was 11.
It was 11.
Yeah, because
Yeah.
the routine I had, honestly, I should have done that routine another time because it was advanced technique.
Y'all weren't ready for what I was throwing out there.
No, they
All
were
right.
Well, they liked it though. It was just anyway. We'll talk. The judging was funny that year.
It was just too advanced for everybody.
Oh yeah, I split shots. It was sick. Remember this? It was about balance and the combination of.
This is Zabayon.
No, it was literally the year I made
Sphericals?
I pulled 4 portafilters of double shots and I split them salami shot style so I could get the extractions broken up into the beginning, middle, end. And so, yeah, the sig drink itself for each judge was like, if I pulled a double shot for everybody, split it into 3 equal-ish parts via time though, not volume, and then broke down basically was sweetness, acidity, and bitterness, and how those 3 flavors in balance show off both the varietal characteristics of the coffee that are inherent and are accentuated by the extraction process. And then, well, yeah, my sig drink was like a little bit I had my own homemade bitters. I had my own homemade whatever, acidity, sweetness. I can't remember all the exact things, but you would have a little taste of all of the individual parts. And then you put all those 3 parts together to finish the drink and have a nice balanced shot.
Nice martini.
And it was delightful, but to be a hater, we had a judge. I had the same.
you
You can raise up that microphone.
No,
if you
I
want,
had
bro.
a judge.
How you really feel.
Well, the reason I didn't make finals is there was a judge from the round in the middle, and you're just supposed to judge round by round. And he literally told everybody, "Well, the last round it tasted like this," and so he actually had him down score me like a half point based on the previous round, not just based on what he was tasting in the cup. And he talked about it at the end, and I was like, so I missed finals because you compared something that you were like, you're not supposed to compare. You're supposed to just taste what's in the cup. And he liked the first round better, but the second round was actually... Anyway.
The only saving grace about things
It
like
is whatever.
that is
Yeah.
that I try to believe that some version of that thing is happening to every competitor. There's like some
I hope so.
ridiculous thing that happens with every competitor because the judges are obviously imperfect,
Yeah.
Absolutely.
not paid, not
Humans.
incredibly well trained for the most part.
Right.
You know, they're essentially volunteers.
However, here's the win for this. So I'll find the silver lining.
Okay.
Because the silver lining is actually a pretty big silver lining. Without that, maybe, but a big portion of the person who ended up going into the finals in that last spot instead of me was Kev from St. Frank. And the reason he hit it was because Ben Hameen had gotten his coffee into the competition scene. And that was the first time competition coffee from Ben Hameen, and then did well. And it was a good springboard for that whole area that we now are locked into the Best Friends Club. It was how I met Ben Hameen, et cetera, et cetera. That was a huge launching point for Hunter and Santa Barbara Coffee. So there's the trade-off. I think it was serendipitous. I was bummed, but for the greater good, we all know that those coffees are
I'm
epic.
taking an L so we can help people
No,
out.
dude, I will fall on my sword for you, Ben Hameen, anytime. Kev, not you. I love you, but Ben Hameen for sure.
Kev, whatever.
Yeah, dude.
Ben Hameen, you're cool.
Ever since Home Alone, anybody named Kev gets second place.
Kev, watch it with the aftershave, buddy. Just chill the fuck out.
Anyway,
It's a great
that's
exercise
deep
to
story.
do, though. Someone did ask about training baristas, so that's a pretty cool segue in terms of taking that extraction, splitting it up. It's something that we do in training. It's really helpful so people can understand what taste characteristics are coming out of your extraction at what times.
Mm-hmm.
So, split the shot up into 3 to 5 to 6, whatever you want to do.
As many cups as you want.
Yeah, depending on how big your extraction is, what's happening, whatever. And then having people taste each individual part, and they all have positive and negative characteristics, but not one of them is complete without the other.
Yep.
But it's a really good way to help diagnose. I need more of this or more of that or less of this or that in the extraction. And it's hard to know that without tasting just those individual parts.
Yeah, it's a really cool moment. People can connect and be like, oh, I get it.
Super good
At least
training
I
tool.
generally get it. Yeah.
Yeah.
And then you got to practice still, but that is a great training tool, and it was really fun to do. It was a pretty complicated performance as well. I mean, yeah, even if you do nail it, there was a lot of information and there's stuff I could have learned. You help the judges understand it better too. They got to follow along.
Yeah. Jared's in the deliberation room after the fact. Look, guys, I didn't make the finals. I get it. It's a little bit
It's
complicated.
a little bit too much for you. Am I right?
Here, I've created this chart from basic status to hero status, and I'm up here at this hero status level. And you guys are just like flirting with basic, and I get
Flirting
it. I
with basic.
get it. It's just
All the best intentions with you, obviously. But
so you had that feedback for me on my score sheet. I've got some feedback for
Yeah.
you. I've actually created a manual for you. Here you go. I want you to study up, and
Next
then
year.
let's do this again in a couple years.
let's do this
All right,
next year.
just
You
get a
do-
few more
we'll
reps
do
under your
better.
belt.
Yeah.
I understand.
I'll see you for the win next year.
I used to be a beginner too. So
I used to be in your shoes.
well,
I
don't
appreciate
want,
you volunteering your time.
I don't want to hate on you, but I also can't endorse your judgment. So thanks.
I can neither confirm nor deny that you did a great job.
It's not a personal thing, I'm not going to, I'm not going to put down the worker, but I will put down your work. You have not met the spec.
Yeah, C+.
I'm sure you're a great father and friend.
And friend.
But
Weird I never saw you judge again. I don't know.
it's weird.
That's actually a truth. Anyway, well, see you later. So anyways, that's Houston in a nutshell. I don't know. Yeah, Houston, I remember being sprawly. I remember being huge.
Yeah, I mean, when I ask about Houston, I'm more asking about what do you hope to get out of SCA?
Yeah,
or
right.
are there anything you want to see technology-wise or
Absolutely.
people-wise or
multiple things. I want to go check out some back-end connective integrations that could be really great for managing everything via a roastery connecting to finance and green department and potentially retail. There's some people bringing something to the table called FlexNet, which I'm, saying, but I can't, say anything more about because I don't know enough. I need to see them on site, but
It's not an endorsement. It's a curiosity.
It
here,
is
okay?
something that I'm very interested in seeing and the way that they have been speaking about it and the people in it.
So it's a POS.
No.
Or
It's like an
inventory
integration
management
it's like everything though. That's what I'm saying. It wouldn't be great for me to try to break it down here because they'd be like, you're butchering it.
They're called
But FlexNet,
FlexNet.
it would be it's a great management tool for what could be everything if everything that they say it does works the way we seem to think it could. So I'm gonna go check that out.
Flexera, is it owned by Flexera? FlexNet Manager,
Here,
software license position.
I have a
I
pitch
might be
deck
on
from
the
them.
wrong.
I have a pitch deck from them. They might not even be fully launched yet. It's like yeah.
This is a startup.
It's definitely a startup. Anyway, I want to go check that out. I am excited to make coffee because I don't get to do that often. I'm excited to see friends that we almost never see anymore. That's always neat.
Making coffee is pretty fun.
I do want to see what kind of general machinery technology, both in every single place, is available and how it may or may not be beneficial to us. Those are the things that are on my mind.
That'll be a fun one. Technology's in a funny place right now. I was playing with that grinder from Malkonig, the Grind by
Right.
Sync one that they sent over, which is essentially the bones of it are based off the E80, so the same thing that we use. And then this one has a couple features. One is you can't manually adjust the collar. It's all done electronically. So you're setting the distance between the burr set in microns, which is cool because you've got this real-time readout of exactly where the burrs are, and it's more accurate than doing it by hand.
Shout out to Microns.
These are initial impressions. And then it also has the capability to connect with certain La Marzocco machines. So if
Right.
we have older ABR Stratas, but we can do an update to them or an add-on thing where you connect the grinder, Bluetooth or USB, and then you program your desired, flow rate. So volume over time, and the machine's communicating with the grinder, and the grinder will essentially adjust itself. If you're trying to get if you're shooting for 31 seconds and I want 40 grams,
Right.
and then that starts to drift and starts happening in 20 seconds, the grind will be like, oh, cool, I'm going to tighten up the grind for you. Boop, 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 boop. And it feels like we're in this interesting spot where everyone's trying to figure out what level of automation we're comfortable with. Like, how can we make things
You
as
still call it craft?
right? How can we make things as automated as possible? Because everybody wants the things that automation brings. Everybody wants easier training ramp up. Everybody wants more consistent quality. Everybody wants to take, essentially in a high turnover business, you'd want to take a new team member from zero to being able, to being able to pull delicious shots for guests as soon as possible.
Yep.
And automation definitely helps with that. So everybody wants that, but everybody still wants I don't even want to call it illusion, but the appearance of craft. So it's like, how far can we go down this road with connectivity and automation without having just a nondescript box on the counter
Fully
like Starbucks?
automatic.
Yeah. Because even if they're doing the exact same thing, because you could argue, well, there's a fully automatic espresso machine, and I don't know if anyone's ever tried to make one that's in the same vein as these manual machines that we have, but the process is not that complicated, right? You're taking ground coffee of a certain particle size, you're pumping some water through it, you're taking milk, you're steaming it a certain way. When I've been inside fully automatic machines, it seems like the one thing they suffer from is the portafilter. They don't really have a traditional portafilter,
Right, yeah.
but the surface area of the coffee is really small.
Right.
The cake size is really small.
Shooting through, yeah.
Yeah, I don't think they have enough bed depth.
Yeah.
At least most of the ones that I've seen
like,
the internals
The
of.
complexity we were trying to find.
Yeah, so you kind of get these tend to be really dry, kind of little like flat. But there's no reason that someone couldn't build something that does what a traditional espresso machine does and have it be fully automated. I think. It just doesn't seem that complicated to me.
It's probably
Right, you're just putting the manual parts together
Right.
until they're automatic.
pretty much
Yeah,
it.
yeah. Well, it's like instead of there's this grinder that can adjust itself and communicates with the machine. There's no reason that couldn't be just one thing,
right.
you know? And then you don't have dosing, you don't have redistribution, you don't have tamping. If you're using something like a puck press, there's no reason for that not to be integrated too.
Yep.
And it's more, I think it's less about can we do it? It's more about two things. Who wants to take that plunge to try to be that specialty coffee, fully automated thing? Eversys was like toying with it with Perger, but that felt just like a marketing ploy. Like it just didn't feel. I did have some coffee off their machines, and it wasn't bad.
It can be good coffee.
Yeah. So it's like the biggest question is, do we want to? You know, do we want to have a shop where you walk in and you just see this black box and someone pushing a button? You know, what
Does it have to be a black box though, guys?
well, it doesn't have to be a black
You
box.
can dance if you want to. Yeah.
But it's guests aren't stupid, so they can tell when they can see the level of engagement from the barista interacting with the product, and then it's a not a problem, but it's a story of story. What is the story that I tell myself about where I get coffee, what it means to me, and the kind of experience I want? And it doesn't matter. So it's like the same thing. I went to where were we? We were in Reno somewhere. We were visiting some family, and there are a couple of really awesome cocktail bars. One's Death and Taxes. I think that's the one I was at. So I go in, and I'm sitting at the bar, and I'm looking at the menu, and they've got, you know, all the traditional cocktails, and then they've got all of these one-off special creations that they do on their. I think they had these tiers to the menu, and maybe one of them said just like, this is our baller list or something. So reasonably expensive cocktails that are promoted as being just really epic. I was like, oh, cool. There was one that was kind of a riff on a Manhattan. I was like, oh, I want this. And I was talking to the bartender. He was talking to me about it. Cool. Ordered it.
They're like, wait, are they going to pull it out of like a slushy machine?
It was
like in the back?
so it was kegged. Yeah. It was a batch made cocktail. So he basically gets a cup and then pours a cocktail into it.
Yeah.
Because a Manhattan, you know, and then throw a cherry in there, and that's like, it was a Manhattan riff. But I'm just like, for the amount of money, it's two things. One's the amount of money I'm paying. Yeah. The second is the place I'm in, or the place I think I'm in, which is a really fancy craft cocktail bar. The cocktail was delicious, but I still felt like I was missing out on the experience.
Yeah.
Seeing the bartender in front of me create this thing that is supposed to be special from scratch. And arguably, you know, maybe the batched cocktail that's been sitting in the jar like tastes better.
Yeah, I just don't believe that. I know. I guess it's up to everybody.
Yeah, like I believe that.
Like I believe that, like a really amazing bartender. Like I think of like at bar when we were at Bar Corinne in San Francisco.
Oh yeah, that guy's out of control.
A really amazing bartender making a really amazing cocktail. It's like I'm willing to pay for that, and
100%.
And that just seems such, I don't know, just like worth paying for. And that I would always believe a really good practitioner with really good ingredients would make the best version of something versus something that's been like batch created.
I want to agree with you because I feel the same way you do. So here, let me try to kill our point here. Negroni. It's really common to have a batch Negroni. So if you go to Mentone in town, this is David Kinch restaurant. They have really awesome bartenders. Negroni is kind of like their thing. They have multiple different Negronis. So a traditional Negroni is just Campari, gin, vermouth. It's all equal parts. There is nothing special that anybody needs to know about how to make a delicious Negroni. So if you're measuring it out, weighing it out, and then putting it in like a batch, it shouldn't affect the quality of it at all compared to a bartender who is on the fly using a jigger to measure out 1 ounce, 1 ounce, 1 ounce. And then, you know, pouring it over, like you got ice, stirring it with ice and then like garnishing it with an orange or whatever. But so I hear you. It's
because the show counts for something.
I think
too,
so
right?
too. No, that's what I'm saying that I was missing.
Yeah.
Despite the quality being good, you know, if I was blind, that's the thing. It's like if I was blindfolded and you gave me that, I'd be like, it's delicious, but we don't go to a place like that to be blindfolded. We want to see what's happening.
Yeah.
So the question in coffee is, how much do people want to see what's happening? What's important for them to see happening, and what is extra? You know what I mean?
Right, because if there is a disconnect and most people and we want that and our guests don't, then it's like, then if you're really trying to provide the best guest experience, like
Check the ego at the dough.
right, then
Right.
like where's the balance between like is it best for the business to focus on what the guest wants
Yes.
and not what your own ego wants?
Totally makes sense. Yeah, and then figuring out, what is that balance? Where is it? Yeah, where is it? And I think that's something that we're exploring.
I think that's just all about whatever creativity you have. You can make that whole thing into a show, even with a keg, if you wanted to. You just have to be creative in how it would look and feel and be, presented in the process. You could fully decide to put it still in a shaker and play the game. You could you know what I'm saying? Like, there's ways to make it feel like you want it to feel without it being, you know what I'm saying? I mean, and the other part is, how often are people going to a place like that? Is that an every night place that, anybody goes to? Is that a sustainable business practice? I wouldn't probably go to Bar Kren every single night.
No.
I loved it. It's maybe the favorite place I've ever been in terms of a bar, but you know what I'm saying? It's like
this place is a
Death and Taxes is like an every night place.
It's an
for,
every
like,
night.
for
You could
people.
go every night.
Yeah.
So you could go every night, have a normal drink, and then
Yeah.
I was just dabbling with their higher end menu. And that was the thing. It was almost the other level of it was because I don't actually have a problem with pre-batched cocktails in some sense. Like when I go to Mentone and I get a Negroni, I know that they batched it out. It's absolutely delicious. And I don't really care, because for what that is, I'm not tripping on it. But this was, I'm paying a $10 premium at a place that's only a cocktail bar known. So with that, I just wanted a little bit more of a show. I want the show. I want to see the bartender essentially making love to my beverage as he's creating it. That's what I want to see. I want to see him invested in the process.
Which you could get into like breaking down what something costs based on like what you value, like how much of different types of value goes into what you cost. Like if a drink there was $15, like what amount of that is it, like $5 for the
Right.
show and $10
For flav.
like you said, like blindfolded, you'd pay $10 for a drink no matter where it came from, out of a keg or like
Sure, if the flavor was right.
a can,
Right.
and then it's like $5. It'd be interesting to like dig into products that way and like how you break down like how you value what you're paying for.
Yeah. That would be a cool little chart to make. But anyway, I mean, that was just a little
Yeah.
sidebar, because I think maybe not the whole industry, but a good portion of the industry is flirting with that idea. Where do we take this automation thing? What can we automate? What can we not? How do we make the business as sustainable as possible while still having really engaged employees and guests? You know,
Right.
because you don't want the employee experience to be, what do you do? I push a button. Like even if even if you're super focused on guest experience, I think there's some sort of pride and ownership in making something.
Yeah, absolutely. To know that you've created something for somebody feels good for sure.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's
And the caveat is still, I mean, even with the automated machine, you still have to dial in the espresso. It's still not a set it and forget it. You still have to engage your taste buds.
You still need to understand. You still need to
understand
pour
what's
latte
happening.
art, hopefully, and you should at least attempt to. And there's still a lot of engagement that needs to happen.
Yeah.
I think that comes down to more of the argument when you even go to like pre-crafted cocktails at places like that. It's like, well, maybe management and leadership and the team don't want to get into being hyper fixated on the amount of alcohol used and did somebody steal it and did, you know what I'm saying? Like all that ounce theory and getting into, bar culture is known for like, here's a shot here and a thing there and like it's on me. And if you have to manage a tighter business because the world keeps getting more expensive, you get into that place where it's like, do we want to be going back and forth battling like inventory management and like testing out like perfection all the time, which could be cool. It could be fine if your culture is really good. It could also be a real pain in the ass for everybody. And it could literally change the focus of how everybody looks at the day to day if everything has to be, hyper perfect too. Or you'd always have your manager coming down on you because the ounces didn't line up perfectly. So that,
Yeah.
that's
Right.
like, Again, that goes back to training and all that crap too.
Our equivalent of milk waste.
Maybe, yeah, or whatever,
milk
whatever waste.
waste
Anywhere, right? Milk
Oh
waste,
my
espresso
gosh.
waste, coffee waste, yeah.
Milk waste. A little ocean with milk waste. from
Water-
cafes.
water waste.
Oh my gosh.
I know, dude. We gotta keep making that ricotta cheese, dude. Where's the people just recycling our ricotta? Catch it, strain it, curds and whey. Let's go.
Holy smokes.
Shout out to Ben Lance, dude. He wants us to.
Wait, what?
Ben's a Cox Lance, dude,
What
from
does
the
he
old
want?
school. I mentioned the ricotta thing back in the day, and he hits me up every now and again. He's all, I'm still waiting for you guys to figure out that ricotta
He
plan.
wants that cheese curd.
He just wants
We
that
could have just a
sustainability
whole-
locked in.
Whole curd,
Yeah.
whole cheese dairy fermentation tank in the back
Absolutely.
room. Actually, we turn the
Who wants to partner up?
turn the grease trap into just a fermentation tank.
It
We'll
already
just be
is.
Skimming that and churning it. I know. That's what I'm saying. It's,
Who wants to man it? In Japan, they eat a bunch of crazy shit, dude. I saw him eating like 5-year-old sushi, literally air dried. Not a joke.
they store it.
They store it in
refrigerated
rice. No,
in rice.
No,
just
no
in
fridge.
rice.
No, yeah, they cover it in rice and they just let it literally decompose for 5 years, and then for 4 years they pull it out, they air dry it for 3 weeks, and then put it back in for another year.
So does the rice preserves it? The rice takes
Everything's-
all the moisture out so it doesn't get
It
funky?
must, yeah.
it's
Just like how you drop your phone in the bathtub
yeah,
and
but
then
it's
you put it
literally
in rice?
Yeah, I watched the person eat it, and it's like no, it's definitely acquired for different cultures. We could never stomach it apparently. But yeah, they slice it up, little sashimi pieces, and
Don't put limits on yourself, Jerry.
hey,
Yeah, dude, you can do anything.
I mean, if I watch Andrew Zimmern, who eats all the crazy stuff, barely be able to handle it, I think I'm gonna be okay not handling it.
I think you
But
got
you never
it, dude.
know. I mean, I am pretty badass.
You're a
so
pretty adventurous
I'm
food
pretty
guy, you know?
badass. I'm not like him though. Not like him.
I don't know who that is, but I believe in you, dude.
You can put a link in the bottom. He's got a lot of clips of him eating crazy stuff.
What's the
Bizarre foods.
What's the craziest thing he's eaten that you've seen?
Oh, he's craziest? I mean, that might be one of them. 5-year-old fish that's never been cooked. It's pretty gnarly. Dude, everything. I mean, he eats it all. I don't know. I've seen him eat crazier stuff. I mean, he's just raw blood out of a fish in a cocktail. I don't know.
All right.
Fish sperm. You asked for it, dude. He's eating
No,
that.
yeah, I've never seen this, so I'm just
yeah.
curious. Yeah, I have no frame of reference.
Yeah, it's delicacies are everywhere that aren't ours.
Those three things are. So he's like the new Anthony Bourdain, just kind of eat
He
whatever,
was
do
in
whatever.
that
RIP.
group. He's been there. He's been in that group for a while.
Okay.
He's just like out and about. That's his whole thing. Bizarre foods. Travel the world. Try it.
Yeah,
Yeah.
respect.
And he does a good job respecting it for sure. Yeah. I mean, he was up eating seal in Alaska because you can't eat that normally, and like the crazy fermented whale blubber.
Whale blubber. Yeah,
But like he said that there's the kind where it's like sits in the oil, ferments for years and years, and they all love it. And he's like, that is just not for me. But he can
Yeah.
stomach most anything.
that's an Inuit thing, right?
Yeah,
It's like
for sure.
their diet's
That's where you went and learned a lot about it
or
Mhm.
something.
They eat a shit ton of fat.
Yeah.
Yeah. Anyway,
Yeah.
beluga.
Baby beluga.
We all know that
Anyway,
song.
belugas. Am I right? So
Man,
episode
this is a great hot fire episode. Just smash and dash. Where are we at? 22?
28, according to this.
28?
Yeah.
Shee. Hey, thanks everybody for listening. We have a offsite that we're doing today. So we're about to jump into a couple meetings, some with some other people, some amongst ourselves. We're doing some planning and I'm excited. Jared got the snack pack here. We got mango, licorice, walnuts, apples, beef jerky, and cotton candy grapes if you want to know a little bit more about what our life is like. Coffee on the website. Like Jared said, if you're not sure where to go with your life in terms of coffee, anything Best Friends Blend, Best Friends Club really helps out some of the producers that we have ongoing relationships with. These are people that we know, that we talk to, that we're deeply invested in what they do. Just earlier this year, we had Damian Chavez, unofficial first member of the Best Friends Club, come to Santa Cruz. Him and his wife spent a bunch of time with us, spoke at one of our staff meetings, talked about his journey, talked about what they do on their farm. It was really awesome. So not only helping the producers, but it helps us do more things like that and connect the dots between where the coffee comes from, who's serving it on the day-to-day, so that hopefully you as a guest can feel more connected and more awesome about what you're spending your money on. And that's all that experience jam that we talk about. And we're out. We'll see you next week.
Hey everyone, that's the podcast for the week. Thanks so much for listening. If you heard something that inspired you, or if you heard something that gave you more questions than answers, send us an email to podcast@catandcloud.com. And if you're looking to know more about us, then head to our website at catandcloud.com, where you can find everything we have to offer. A great place to start would be The Answer, our house coffee that's right for any occasion. Or the Best Friends Blend, a coffee that tastes just as good as the good it does by donating $1 per pound back to our partnering producers. Also, if you're feeling extra friendly, connect with us in the usual places, like YouTube, Instagram, pretty much everywhere that's hip. All right, that's it. Thanks for being awesome, everyone, and we'll be back next week.